I recently hit 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And I'm very excited, and I thought, let's make a big stupid dress to celebrate. So we've already started with the undergarments over here, and I thought, let's make a Victorian dress. But what does that mean? The Victorian era is 60 years. A Victorian dress could be this, or this, and this. I think a lot of people, when they think of like a Victorian dress, they think of this, which is totally reasonable because that, you know, that's part of it. While I love this, it's not what we're doing today. But let's put a pin in that really quick. And let's talk about a different monarch. Empress Elizabeth of Austria, also known as Empress Sisi. Known for her exceptional beauty, she led a somewhat tragic life. She wasn't able to raise her own children. Her first daughter passed very young. Her only son ended his life at a young age, and she never really recovered from that. And ultimately, she was assassinated by, I believe, an Italian man. Why am I talking about this? Well, just wanted to give you some backstory on her. But we're gonna be looking at a very specific portrait of her. This portrait. Empress Elizabeth of Austria in court gold dress with diamond stars by Franz Xavier Winterhalter. Probably didn't pronounce that right, but doing my best. Okay, so how did I get to this dress? I'm glad you asked. I would like to show you. But first, let me take you back to 2020. When the strawberry dress blew up the internet, I, like everybody else in the world, loved this dress. And like a lot of creators on here, I made my own version of it. Being somewhat new to the techniques and like nitty-gritty of sewing, I accidentally used organza, so I just look like a big cupcake. Was not the same vibe at all. But with the discovery of Ryuko Matoshi, I discovered her sister, Tata Matoshi. Tatu Matoshi. Names are hard, very sorry. Who was also a designer. And she designed these beautiful dresses that I have been in love with for years. And I've been dreaming of making one of these dresses. And I thought, 10K, perfect time to be making one of these. And at the beginning of the research for this video, I was trying to decide which dress to do. Do I copy a whole dress and just make it exactly? Or do I take a Mod Podge of all of her dresses and just kind of make a dress that is in that same vibe? And while I didn't know what dress I was making yet, I did know I was making a dress. So I bought the fabric, this fabric. When I saw this at the store, I fell in love. The way it shifts from green to purple, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So I bought a bunch of this because I knew I was gonna use it. That aside, at this point in my research, I started bookmarking different dresses, but none of the dresses in her current collection or really her past collection were just hitting. Like don't get me wrong, I love them, but none of them just felt right. So then I moved over to Pinterest. Now, please let me share with you my Pinterest board. Down here at the bottom, we start off with some Matoshi dresses. Gorgeous, love them, kind of the vibe that I think I wanted. Then we get into a couple like AI design dresses, but they still had the like, okay, I like this. Feeling a little disheartened at this point. I thought maybe I'll add like a historical element to it. After all, that is part of the core of my channel. My second video ever was a Victorian dress. Well, technically third because I had to make the undergarments first. So now let's circle back to the beginning of this video when we were talking about bustle dresses. So I thought maybe I could add like bustle elements. So now we have some bustle dresses in here, getting a little bit more historical. And then while I was in that type of search, I found it. I found the dress. To take another small tangent, growing up, The King and I was one of my favorite movies. Listen, I know it's problematic now. We're not gonna talk about these white people wearing brown face. Let's just look at the costumes for right now, please. As a small child, I fell in love with her dresses. Oh my gosh, the way they shine, just the sheer volume of dress. And looking back now, this is just the movie that opened my eyes to historical dress. So when I saw this portrait of Empress Sisi, I knew my search was over. This was it. Can you hear my earrings clack? It's a little distracting for me. But I didn't want to make an exact copy of this dress. I wanted to change the color because I didn't want to make a white dress because that's not me. And this is celebrating 10K for my channel. So I really wanted this dress to be me. And I had already bought the fabric. So what if I made this dress, but make it dark? And here we are. So I'm gonna use a couple of patterns from Truly Victorian. My first time using them was in the last video when I used them to make this crinoline cage skirt. And I found their instructions really simple. I had been using black snail patterns before. My main complaint with them was that the instructions felt really confusing. But they have a really large selection of patterns and they're a good company. I think it's just one lady, so not bad mouthing her. I would like some clearer instructions because I'm not that smart. Because I just need them. We're gonna be using this Truly Victorian 442 1860s ball gown bodice and this 247 1865 elliptical skirt. I feel like both of these are perfect for what we're doing. Now let's talk about the little stars that are on the gown because it's kind of an important part of this dress. So we can't like leave it out. So I thought rhinestones would be fun. So I played around with different colored rhinestones. I thought I would use black, but you just can't see the black that well. And I thought if I'm gonna be putting this much time into something, I want to see it. So we're gonna be using these iridescent rhinestones, which look really good on the fabric. So I was playing around with different designs and I came up with, this is the one that I like. Oh, it's missing the center stone. Okay, well, this is the one I like, but with a center stone. And it looks really nice with the shifting of the purple and the green. So now that we know what patterns we're using, the design of the applique, and we have our fabrics, it's time to start making this skirt. And we have a lot of skirt. We're gonna be rhinestoning for a while. Put your bedazzling cap on. It is time to get busy.
Purple and green fabric is completely sheer and a bit on the stretchy side, so we need to flatline it. I cut everything out of the top layer of fabric, making sure that all the panels are in the same direction because the color of this fabric shifts depending on where you're looking at it. And then cut the underlayer fabric, which is a thin satin. Laying each piece on top of its corresponding part, I pin all around the edges and then take them over to the machine, stitch around in the seam allowance. Now I can treat these as one single piece. Now it's time to bedazzle. I was recently introduced to this hot fix tool. The rhinestones have glue on the back and then the tool heats up the glue to adhere it to the fabric. It works really well, but it's still really time consuming.
After working pretty diligently for a few days, managed to bedazzle all 9 panels of the skirt. It took a while, but it surprisingly didn't take as long as I thought it would. Like I thought I was gonna be doing this for the rest of my life, and it only took a few days. So that's a plus. But look how pretty! This makes me want to bedazzle everything. Now it's time to actually like put the skirt together. And then there's a few more spots that we're gonna need to bedazzle because they were in the seam area. So we'll bedazzle those after we sew everything together. But that's the next step. We gotta sew it together. Oh, I should probably make a waistband too. But let's sew this together. That's gonna be the easy part, is just attaching all these panels to each other. And then there's some involved folding that's gonna have to happen, also known as pleating. And it looks a little complicated. Let's put these pieces together so we can start doing that. And then the skirt will be done. Easy.
After sewing together all 9 panel pieces of the skirt, it's time to pleat it. The pleats were stupid simple. Just tucking in all the seams by 1 inch with the pleating going away from the front middle. The back of the skirt gets gathered together. I decided to use cartridge pleats for this because I just really like the way they look. You mark out 2 lines of dots evenly spaced. Then you run 2 lines of gathering stitches on those dots that you marked. And when you're finished, they should fold in together like an accordion.
Do you see this? Turn, class, so everybody can see your big booty. I'm so very thrilled. I still need to hem the skirt, and I need to add some more stars in some places that are like on the seam. Is it super obvious that the stars aren't evenly spaced? I tried, I don't know what happened. They started out even and then it just like got wonky. I don't even know. That looks really good with the corset too. Oh, tickled. Enough gushing. I don't know why I thought the pleating on this was gonna be difficult. This might be the easiest skirt I have ever made, ever, in the history of all history. All right, well, let's keep going. So to pick out the size of the bodice I needed, truly Victorian does their sizing a little bit differently. It's really interesting. So first you need some measurements, your back width, so like shoulder blade to shoulder blade, back length from nape to waist, bust, and then armhole. And with those measurements, you choose the back and side back, and then you choose the front separately. Okay, so then what am I? In their size chart, I am a straight line down size E, except for my back length, which is an M. We're long-waisted. We knew this. Okay, so now it's, oh, sorry, the table moves and I was leaning on it. Okay, so now I gotta get the pattern out and trace over it and get the size that I need. So, BRB.
2 weeks later.
Oh, hi. It's been like 2 weeks since I've worked on this project. Listen. It started with an issue that I was trying to avoid. These 2 pieces was the back center and the back side. See how they like go together at the bottom? This like little whoop thing? I was overthinking it and it was really frustrating to me. Watched some other videos, people making this bodice. Nobody really addressed this issue. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put this to the side. I'm not working at my job for like the next 2 months. So why don't I focus on YouTube and I'll like put videos out once a week. Yeah, I'll do that. So I stopped this and then started a project and then dumped that project and then started another project, and then it was gonna snow, so I stopped to make my winter witch, and then I came back to the second project and then dropped that project and then got a sinus infection, and that's why I sound weird. And here we are. And now I have 2 days to finish this because I have made an appointment with my friend who she's filmed a couple reveals for me already. She filmed my Spring Witch and my Victoria Daphne costume, which are some of my favorite reveals. So she was gonna film that for me in 2 days. And so I have to finish this in 2 days, which I think is doable. But also I thought I could put a video out once a week. So I'm delusional. And my brain isn't doing very brain good stuff because the sinus infection, so doing my best. Anyways, got up here this morning and I put the mock-up / lining together. Oh, I was supposed to be putting this on while I talked. Didn't do that. I gotta put this on so I can try the mock-up on and see how it fits. I just need it to like go on, basically. It doesn't have to fit perfectly. I just need it to be on my body, you know? Not going for perfection here. At this point, we're going for done. You get to watch me struggle to put this on because I always struggle to put it on I think part of the issue with it is that I didn't leave myself enough room in the eye section. And so like it's really hard to put on. Could get one on and then another one comes off. So the things that we still need to do for this project is we need to finish the whole top, obviously, and we need to bejewel the top. I still need to do a little bit of bejeweling for the skirt because I didn't go back through and fill in those spots on the seams that I needed. So I gotta do that. And then hair. This is so hard to do. Oh my God, we pulled the wrong thing. Is this it? Oh, okay. I got it. I'm doing great, you guys. Just fabulous. Okay, where was I? Hair. Looking at this portrait, she has a lot of hair, like a lot of hair. I mean, it's not just like painted that way. She kind of took pride in her hair and how long it was. So there's this like braid and it's so thick. And I just like, I could not figure out how I was gonna do that because I don't have enough hair for that. So bought some hair. It's very not close to my color, but you know, it's fine. So luckily, Morgan Donner, whom I absolutely adore, just put out this video about hair braids, like stuffed hair braids. So she's saved me. We're gonna make those and add them with this, and then we'll make a braid. We'll do it. We'll do it, I promise. We'll get there. Okay, what are we doing? We're trying this on. Okay, so this sits off the shoulder. The only thing I did to the pattern, excuse me, let me catch my breath, because apparently turning around takes a lot out of me. Okay, the only thing I did to this pattern was add 1/2 inch in the waist, because you guys know I'm long-waisted, I always have to do that. Okay, so what are we working with here? This is good. Without pulling, just like very lightly holding these two together, they almost meet. So what I'm thinking is that once we get this all built and like put together, I can lace it up and it will fit perfectly. All right, so I hate what this is doing here, but there's gonna be a Bertha. Where does the name Bertha come from? That's a really weird name for something. Anyhow, to get off topic, it has a Bertha. And Bertha sits here like this. So I think that's gonna cover this little issue up. And I know there was like padding and padded undergarments, and I could absolutely do that, but you know I'm not going to. So just save those comments. Just kidding. Comment if you like. While we're talking about comments, you gotta like, subscribe, and comment if you want. Helps me out a whole bunch. Love having you guys. And even if you just comment a little dancing lady, really helps. Thank you guys. Enough fooling. What are we doing? This fits, so what do we do now? Okay, what we need to do now is cut this out again. Oh, do you want me to show you that part that I was like, I don't know how to sew this? It's here. There's this little bit, I don't know if I sewed it correctly, but here's the thing. I forget because of who I am that you don't have to follow the instructions. You don't have to follow the rules all the time. You can just do things. Did you know that? You just do things. So that's how I ended up with this. It was just like, just sew it together. Who cares? It'll end up how it ends up and it'll be fine. What are you going to a ball? You're afraid those aristocrats are gonna make fun of you because your dress bodice looks a little weird? No, that's silly. Only the nicest people watch your channel, and they are so very nice to you in the comments. Nobody's gonna say anything. Actually, I'm really thankful for you guys, because I was afraid when I first started this channel that people were gonna be mean to me. I'm sensitive. But nobody, I've only had like less than a handful of comments that just weren't like very nice. So I'm very lucky for you guys. Thank you. Thank you for not being mean to me. I got lost again. Okay, I need to cut everything out again. We need to cut it out of the fabric and the shimmery fabric. We have to cut everything out.
We need to flatline the bodice pieces the same way we did with the skirt. Cutting everything out twice, pin together, sew in the seam allowance. Since I'm working with 2 layers of fabric that need darts, I decided to do a ladder stitch on them first to keep the layers from shifting. It's a really easy stitch. Just go across, down, and so on. It looks like a ladder. Then you can pull those 2 ends taut and the fabric will fold up where you put those stitches and it'll hold the dart in place. And now you can sew over it and then remove the ladder stitch later.
We've got everything flatlined now, all 800 pieces. I forgot the inner lining on the front 2 pieces. And the inner lining is just a kind of structural piece of fabric that you put behind your fashion fabric. And then you flatline those 2 pieces together using them as one piece. So you'll have 3 pieces of fabric, in my case 4. You have the 2 or 3 outside pieces and then the 1 lining. Anyways, I forgot the inner lining for the front one, so I just did the darts separately and then sewed them together because I was not taking these darts out. No. I'm gonna sew darts and then take them back out again? I don't think so. Crazy. As I was sewing everything together, I was like remembering how much I love this fabric. Ugh, it's so pretty. Let's see, as of right now, it's almost 4 o'clock. We have 17 hours to finish the bodice, excuse me, which is totally doable because we just have to like sew it together now. The back pieces and the front pieces, and now we need to put them together so that we can put on the Bertha and then do the rhinestones, right? So, ta-da! Look at it. Look at it. I feel so sassy, like this neckline. Oh, I love this neckline. It's like slightly off the shoulder. Hello. Don't mind me, I'm just a fancy lady. Okay, next, the Bertha. We had to sew the Bertha together. And then I think the rhinestones, trying to figure out what order to do everything. I guess we just do the rhinestones very last. Okay, so we need to add the boning channels, put the Bertha on, sew the lining on, and then do the rhinestones. And then we gotta figure out how to put the closure on, which is not something I have thought that much about. First thing we're gonna do is make some boning channels. We're just gonna take 1.5 inch thick strips and sew those together, making a little channel, if you will. Sew the top of them, put the little bone in, and then we're gonna hand stitch those to the inner lining fabric, which sounds like a lot of work, and it probably is, but it's not that difficult. So how many boning channels do we need? I'm in love with your body. Oh, we need sleeves. Getting ahead of myself. We also need sleeves. 2, 4, 6, 8. We need 8 boning channels. Let's continue on.
The sleeves were really interesting. After sewing 2 rows of gathering stitches across the top and the bottom of the puff sleeve, you attach it to the lining, right sides together, and gather to fit. Flip that right side out and do the same thing to the top, wrong sides together. I end up stuffing a little bit of red tulle in between the lining and the outside fabric just to keep it from deflating. It just gives it a nice little puff. Then you attach it to the arm's eye.
Look! Look at this little sleeve. These little puff sleeves are so cute. The Bertha's still a little weird. I did put a little tack down to make sure that it stayed centered because it would really bug me if it didn't. Looking good. I really need to put a closure on it because I need to do another fit check. Although I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't fit. So, all right, well, let's keep moving because we still got a lot to do in a very short amount of time. What time is it right now? We have 23 hours to finish everything else. That means we need to do the lining, we need to do the closure, we gotta put the little stars, rhinestones all over it. We need to finish with the star rhinestones on the skirt. I need to hem the skirt because I haven't done that yet. We got to do something with the hair, and we got to make little stars for the hair and gloves because I decided I wanted gloves also. Ooh, listing it all out like that makes it seem like it's a lot. All right, one thing at a time, right? Let's either do the lining or the closure. I don't know which one. I'm gonna decide in a second. You'll find out.
Time to attach the lining. Put the lining and the outside garment right sides together and then sew around the whole thing. Neck, back sides, and bottom. It's really thick with the 4 layers of fabric, so I grade the seam allowance, trimming down the interfacing layer to about 3 millimeters. Then you flip it all right side out through the arm's eye. Take it over to the ironing board and give it a really good press, just rolling the seams to the inside so the lining doesn't show.
Okay, the lining is all attached except for the armholes, which I need to hand sew down on the inside. I opted for hand sewn eyelets. I know you're thinking, Annie, that's a really interesting choice when you only have 21 and a half hours left. How many hours did I have earlier? I feel like it was less than that. I can't math. And to that I would say, yes, it is an interesting choice. Why? Just because grommets would look really weird. I feel like they would draw too much attention because they're so tiny. That's why. That's all there is to that. So hand sewn eyelets, which I will do later. That is a couch activity, but I'm very excited for how it's going. Okay, rhinestones. Okay, well let's heat up our hotfix tool and get to stoning.
Please enjoy this time lapse of me doing more bedazzling.
Oh my God. Okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the Bertha, if I'm gonna put anything on it, but I definitely wanna put stuff on the sleeves, and I really wish I would have done that before I had put them on. This is gonna be really hard now, but I'm gonna put some on the sleeves. This took me about 2.5 hours to get all these on, which is not terrible. It was my dad's birthday, so I sat on the phone with him for like an hour while I did that. I do want to put some on the sleeve, but we're gonna set that aside. What's the next thing I need to do? Definitely need to do the hair. I think I should do the hair before I do the gloves because the hair is more important than the gloves. If I don't have gloves, that's okay, but I need hair. Oh, I gotta make those little stars. Okay, let's make those braid stuffers, those little Morgan Donner braid stuffers, and then I can do the hair. And I'm not gonna show you the making of the braid stuffers because if you can just watch Morgan Donner's video. Finish this off camera. Let's do the braids and I'll go get my mannequin head out and then we'll make the gloves and then we're done. We're doing good. I feel like there's something that I'm forgetting about. Do you remember? Ooh, I hate that feeling. Okay, anyways. Okay. We got our head, our hair, and our tentacles. I feel like I've made weird stuff on my channel, but why does this feel like the weirdest thing? That's really not my color, huh? It's really soft. Surprised at how soft this is. It's synthetic. I didn't splurge for real hair. I stand up straight. I'm not a shrimp. I'm a shrimp. We got 2 shorter ones, 1 really wide one, and 1 almost as wide as that one. Pin our braid in, divide our hair, and Then we start braiding. I should have brought a hairbrush up here. Okay, how is this looking? Oh, much swooshing. Okay, that's not bad. I do need some more hair now. I must go get a hairbrush. BRB. If you're wondering how I'm gonna put this on my head, I have no idea at the moment. Oh, and this isn't like a fancy wig stand or something. This is a very cheap styrofoam head on a backdrop stand. Where are we at in this braid? Oh no. It's backwards now, like a Dutch braid. Everybody be tame. I feel like I need more hair. Okay. This is a good first try. Let's keep going. Okay, what if we take this really long one and fold it in half? So I put them together and now I got this nice, thick lady here. Now we want to pin her. Okay, I think that's looking a lot better. I need to put the other hair on here now. Not think through how to tie this off. Okay, that's a big braid. Let me just zhuzh this up a little bit. Okay, I think this will work. All right, this looks like an absolute mess. Oh no. Okay, that's okay. I will figure it out. The important part is that it's done. But I think I think it's time to go to the reveal. I think you'll see me goof around too much. This video is probably too long. So, sayonara. I'm so cold. It was a really long drive to get back home, but I'm still so cold. It's also freezing in the office. The dress was so cool to see it like all together. I did not finish hemming it, but in my defense, both of those materials I made the skirt out of didn't fray very easily, if at all. So I thought it would be fine. And they kind of frayed. After walking around on the concrete, they did start to fray. So that's, So I still needed to hem it. I did not sew the eyelets on the bodice because I just did not have time. I was up till 1 in the morning finishing these things, which came out totally okay. These are just little leather bits that I dyed and glued some rhinestones on, and then put some wire on the back so I could stick them in my hair. They came out great. A major issue, though, was that I did not put a closure on the skirt, which is usually totally fine when it comes to like historical stuff because they're tucked under and I pinned them. That's I think how all of my historical skirts are done, is that I just don't do the hook and eye closure and I just pin them. But this top, since it laces in the back, I needed to put this on before I left the house. So I had to put my corset on so that I could put this on. And that's just mostly because it would be really hard to like get it over my head, and then it's also really cold out. It was 27 degrees Fahrenheit today. It was so cold. So I guess I didn't tighten my corset enough. And this skirt, it was really hard to get it to pin together. And also it was so cold that my like fingers were numb. So it was I had a really hard time trying to get it to stay, and it did not stay. It kept like falling, and so I'd have to like kind of just like pin it, and I was just like pinning it into my corset and kind of stabbing myself in the back occasionally, just trying to make it work. I'm like, God, please, just 10 minutes. But for the most part, like overall, those little issues aside, the skirt not staying close is kind of a major issue, but regardless, I loved this dress. Oh my gosh. My hair came out okay. Don't look at the back. The back is none of your business. It's none of my business. I can't even see it, so just don't look at the back. The front came out okay. It's actually kind of a hot mess, but you know, I think it embodied the spirit of her hair in the portrait. Like it was close enough. And with the little stars, it really helped. That's it for me. That was my 10K dress. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and liking and commenting. Wink, 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 wink. Huh? And overall supporting me and being so very kind to me. I really love you guys. Thank you so much. My next video is gonna be a collaboration with somebody, and I'm very, very excited about it. But that's it for me. I will see you guys in a couple weeks. Bye.
This is a movie that would shape who I was. That's too dramatic. There's so much air. You could fly anywhere. Why do you have to fly above my house? You don't belong there. A god could, no, we're not gonna use that joke. Pew! I'm in love with your body.
What is this? Oh, it's a sleeve. I just put that there.
Is it cold outside?
No,
I don't really feel it.
feels like summer.
It's fine.